In this revision video, we will be looking at using the sine rule to find missing lengths and missing angles in a triangle. Hopefully you'll notice here that the triangle is not a right angled triangle. If it was a right angled triangle, we would be using SOHCAHTOA. But because it isn't, we need to use the sine rule. You will be given these formulas in your exam. Work out the length BC. I will put an X here. Let's get it labelled. So what you need to remember for the sine rule is that all the angles are uppercase letters and the opposite lengths are lowercase letters. So big A, opposite length, little a. I'm not going to bother labelling these. I don't have any of the B information. Big C, little c. Because I'm using only A and C, I'm just going to miss out that middle bit of the formula. So we know A over sine A equals B over sine B. Let's just replace our information, substitute in the values. X over sine 42 equals 5 over sine 53. I need to work out X, so let's make X a subject. What's the opposite of dividing by sine 42? Times in both sides by sine 42. Multiply the left-hand side by sine 42, you're left with X. Multiply the right-hand side by sine 42. We have this. I'm just going to type that all into my calculator. 5 divided by sine 53. I press an equals at that point and then multiply by sine 42 to get an answer of 4.2 centimetres to 1 decimal place. That is your value of X. That's the length BC. Have a go at these two questions. Put me on pause, unpause to find out how you got on with them. How did you get on? Question 2 is a little bit tricky. We'll discuss that in a minute. Let's get on with question 1. There are no letters here, so you can choose capital A, lowercase a, because it's opposite, capital B, lowercase b, again, because it is opposite. A over sine A equals B over sine B. Don't need the C's this time. Substitute in the values, X over sine 38 equals 13 over sine 100. Multiply both sides by sine 38. Gives you X as 8.1 centimetres. Okay, now this one here, I've got big A, little a. We want the length X here. So big B, little b. So you might have thought, well, we've got a problem here. We don't know this angle. But do we know this angle? What do angles in a triangle add up to? 180. So if you take off those angles here, we have 105. Well done if you did spot that. If you didn't, maybe you will remember it if you see it again. So we have A over sine A equals B over sine B again. Twelve over sine 55. X over sine 105. Multiply both sides by sine 105. But multiply in the order does not matter. Type it in your calculator. 12 over sine 55 equals multiply by sine 105. We get 14.2. So that's sine rule for missing length. We'll now be looking at a sine rule for missing angle. Nope, let me just bring the formulas over. When it's sine rule for missing angle, so you can see we've got a missing angle here, x degrees, you have to remember to flip these formulas over. So instead of a over sine A, we have sine A over A equals sine B over B. You just have to remember that. And then also, if you do use C, sine C over C. So for a missing angle, flip over the formulas. It's not labelled, so I'm going to label this big A, little a, big B, little b. So here's my formula, sine A over A equals sine B over B. Let's sub in my values. Sine X over 5.4 equals sine 95 over 6.7. I'm just going to make sine X a subject first by multiplying both sides by 5.4. Type that into your calculator. Gives you sine X is equal to 0.8. Now, how do we make X a subject here? How do you reverse that sign? So that's using the sine to the -1 button. I'm going to show you in a minute. So we basically need to sine to the -1 both sides. If you do that to sine, it disappears. And I'm just going to use my calculator. So if I leave that other answer there for the time being, if I press shift and then the sine button, you see then we have sine to the -1. And I'm just going to click answer. It carries over that 0.8029 answer from before. And then we have 53.4 degrees. Here are 2 questions. Put me on pause, unpause, see how you get on. Times both sides by 10. Pop it in your calculator. Sine 60 divided by 15 times 10 is 0.577. Sine to the -1 gives you X is 35.3 to 1 decimal. Oh, we want it to 3 significant figures. Not sure if I looked at those correctly in the other ones. Yeah, I did. Got 3 significant figures there. 1 decimal place. Yes. Okay, that's fine. Big C, little c. BAC is this angle here. So that's my unknown this time. That is 20 meters there. So we have this time sine A over A equals sine C over C. We just don't need B, so we just leave it out. Multiply both sides by 20. Gives you sine X is 0.974. Sine to the -1 both sides. Gives us 77.0 to 3 significant figures. I would suggest maybe watching cosine rule next.